Thank you everyone for joining us. I'm Vaibhav Gupta, and on the behalf of Team Atharva, powered by Bombay Stock Exchange Investor Protection Fund, we would like to introduce to you to our guest of the evening, Mr. Devesh Chawla, CEO and founder of Chatur Ideas, an advisor at Crypto University, and Mr. Ajay Pathak, blockchain enthusiast at Crypto University. And we are very grateful for this opportunity that we got a chance to collaborate with you guys, and we got at least we can get some insights on a very intriguing topic, the future of the blockchain and the cryptocurrency. So I would not waste time, and Ajay sir, you can take over. Thank you.
No problem. Thanks a lot.
Welcome, sir.
Good evening. Welcome, everyone. It's a nice gathering out here. So all of you, thanks for visiting this place, and really encouraged to see the kind of enthusiasm about blockchain and cryptocurrency that you have got. I hope all of you are keeping track of the events which is evolving around the crypto and blockchain space in India. So I have very high hopes that this ecosystem becomes a very large and vibrant section, and provides a lot of opportunities for the students, and also that creates the kind of an space for us to uh, collaborate, participate with you, so as to develop those skills which will be necessary for this uh, particular, to address the needs of this particular evolving space, which we often try to call as metaverse. Now, trust me on one thing, when people ask me about, well, when is metaverse coming and things like that, uh, my favorite answer is that we already are in metaverse. We have already stepped into metaverse. So this digital meeting that we are having together, me from my office space and all of you joining in from your home spaces, it is not really as immersive as augmented reality or virtual reality is supposed to be, but still this is kind of an reflection of what we can do with the in the digital space together. We can, from the comforts of our home, connect with each other, exchange ideas and things like that. And as we proceed more into this space, we do a lot of more exciting things. So we already have stepped into the metaverse. It's only a matter of, effort of various people, various projects to come together and, do that kind of natural language programming, spatial computing, immersive technologies, use all those things and bring about that digital reality in our realm today. So I have a small kind of a presentation for all of you, which basically talks about the opportunities that I foresee into the future, and why students should participate into this learning, why they should learn the skills and what kind of skills they should be learning at, what's the kind of opportunities they should be seeking out, and so and so forth. So allow me to share a presentation with all of you. So basically what we'll try to do is that we'll do a need evaluation and a process roadmap about how to skill ourselves into the blockchain and cryptocurrency space, and address the needs of the industry which is already there by participating into this. So that's what we are, and hope that's going to answer a lot of questions, if not make at least people curious about how to participate into this. Now, what is blockchain? I think it's cliche now. I mean, everybody knows what blockchain is, what cryptocurrencies are, and how you should proceed about that. But the question today is why blockchain, and the answer lies into some kind of a forward looks into how blockchain is going to change the world, if not just the industry, but the entire world by 2030. And this is not something which I say, this is something which the PricewaterhouseCoopers, one of the big four guys, they are talking about. And this is an October 2020 report. So basically, this is a report which is over an year old. And in 2021, on top of these things, we have seen how NFT has burst into the place, how Metaverse has burst into the place, uh, how tokenization has made leaps and bounds into this area. So these estimates which PwC has provided to us obviously did not take into account the opportunities which those tech developments would actually create. So these are lower side estimates, guys. So basically, you can expect these estimates to be the actuals to be turning out to be much more faster and much more bigger than what PwC estimates give it to us. But still, in the lower side also, PwC estimates is that by 2030, in the next decade, $1.76 trillion of GDP is going to be added by the blockchain technology. Okay, so this is one of the key findings of their economists in October 2020. They anticipate that by 2025, we'll be adding about $422 billion of GDP worldwide with the blockchain technology, implementation of it at different uh, domains of enterprise, public sector, private sector, everything. And by 2030, it's going to jump to about $1.76 trillion, which is going to represent about 1.4% of the global GDP by 2030. But I believe that this figure is going to be much, much more. And if nothing, we are going to look at a fair share of 3 to 4% of the global GDP contributed by the blockchain technology and various other technologies associated with the blockchain. Okay. So this is what it is like is going to be. Their survey also indicates that about 61% of the CEOs have started putting digital transformation as the top three of the priorities. So all the enterprises, they are looking to change. Otherwise, this disruption will make them irrelevant. Like what we have seen in the world of photography, in the world of digital photography, the analog photography giant Kodak, it just got wiped out in front of digital photography because it refused to change. Xerox, it's nowhere any further. Nokia, it's trying to rebrand itself into a smartphone company and things like that. So businesses, if they do not accept the change which is coming over, are going to be irrelevant. And how are they going to address that change? By changing themselves, by putting these new ideas in, by adopting these new ideas into their fold of business and remodeling their business. Now, this entire remodeling will require new skills, new people come over, become the change agents inside those corporations and take their efforts further into the digital era, or as we call it, the metaverse. Uh, Given the kind of opportunities that might arise, PwC also shares that it's going to add about 2.2 million jobs in the USA alone. Uh, there's some estimates from the European area, and in India, it's going to add about 3.2 million jobs. Now, trust me, my experience is that all these worldwide job additions of the several millions of workforce, Indians are going to have a fair share even of that job workforce, simply because the kind of tech education that we have and the kind of uh, uh, immersive education that we have, the completeness of our education system is valued all across the world, and that's a known fact today. So most of the developers in the US or European countries or even Africa uh, and Middle East, they are all Indians. A fair share, a large share of them are Indians. So basically, even we will keep our dominance in that area, and it's going to add a huge amount of job space into even in the blockchain and the cryptocurrencies area. What does India look at? We all know that on first, our finance minister, uh, she came out with the proposal that crypto transactions will be taxed. So that's kind of an, I mean, and pseudo implication that, well, it is not going to be banned any further. It's not illegal, okay, as the buzzword has been. And I'd like to share some of the reports of Niti Aayog with you. So specifically, a couple of recommendations from Niti Aayog, which comes as the Blockchain India strategy, was published in January 2020. and a significant amount of effort has been laid into the grounds by various institutions like the Ministry of Electronic Communications, MIT, and IIT Kanpur, IIM Calcutta, in addressing whatever these recommendations are. It's being put into place. So one of the recommendations of Niti Aayog was to creation of a national infrastructure for deploying of blockchain solutions with inbuilt fabric, identity platform, and incentive platform India chain, which is already underway, and to develop India as a blockchain hub where promotion of research and development in blockchain, in addition to focus on skilling of workforce and students, will be undertaking. So these are some of the areas which will create that kind of a demand for skilled workforce, which I guess is you today. And therefore, it becomes very much important for you to really skill yourself to address these needs, which are going to come in only a few years into the future. So this actually gives me a superb amount of confidence of saying that uh, this kind of an environment is going to provide you with that kind of exciting job areas. Now, coming to that, that well, this is creating a huge amount of opportunity. I'd like to also discuss that what's the kind of jobs that you can expect in this area going forward. So these are some of them. Obviously there could be many more depending upon the projects and other things. But obviously these are going to be the bulk of it. It's not really an exhaustive list kind of a thing, but this is something which, you can start focusing on, and thereafter, skilling yourself accordingly. So either you can become a blockchain developer or a blockchain architect, even a blockchain administrator. Uh, if you are good in UX designing and things like that, you can become a blockchain UX designer. Uh, More business administration oriented guys could become blockchain product managers or blockchain analysts and blockchain consultants. Some of you can become blockchain quality engineer. People from the legal side can become legal consultants. Uh, Blockchain engineers will be very much in, demand. And there could be some, really offbeat kind of an uh, uh, jobs like blockchain content writer, social media marketing guys, community managers, trainers, educators, and other things, wherein your knowledge and your expertise on blockchain could come into proliferating this entire uh, knowledge sphere even further. Okay, by sharing your expertise, by writing over social medias, by becoming community managers, or becoming trainers and educators, and so on and so forth. So these are some of the jobs in blockchain that you can expect, and the kind of skills that you'll be requiring to address some of the requirements of these jobs. It's again not an exhaustive kind of a thing, and it's not an absolute requirement to have all these skill sets under your wings. But definitely, I mean, having a few of them is going to be of a great advantage. So there are some blockchain technologies like Solidity, which is an smart contract writing language for Ethereum, or you can learn Ethereum, how to write smart contracts, how to do the validation, verification, and things like that. You can also look at how to develop a project on Hyperledger Fabric, how to do it on an Ripple or in Corda platform and things like that. You need to learn some coding languages like Java, Python, C, C++, some blockchain development tools like Geth, Maze, Parity, Remix, Solium, Bash, Truffle, some DevOps tools like Jenkins, Selenium, Travis CI, some cloud creation like Node JavaScripts, REST tools, web apps, and you could, if you have some other skill sets, like you have a good understanding of how the fintech technologies are moving, how cryptography works, how information science or the networking of it is actually, put into place, how open source programming works and things like that, you could also, participate much more positively into this entire ecosystem in this. How to actually, reskill yourself or upskill yourself to become a blockchain professional. So this is kind of a small guideline about the roadmap that you can take. You can start off with some of the basic knowledge, like what are blocks, what are chains, uh, how is trust built into the system. These are called trustless systems. So what actually is to be trusted, and how can it either go wrong, or what cannot go wrong into the system, and what needs to be done so as to, make these systems much more robust functioning and things like that. So these are some of the basic knowledges that you should be having. Then you should have a clear cut understanding of the whole process with its components. Okay, so this is very, very much critical. And then you could look at some of the application cases, like how blockchain is used to achieve certain business goals of different teams, departments, or the industries. Like you can look at the use cases, let's say how Walmart is using blockchain to make its supply chain much more responsive or efficient, how to reduce the costs in its entire supply chain and things like that. So some of these application cases could be picked up, studied, analyzed, and models could be developed onto them, that okay, then how could it be applied on other businesses as well. Then probably once you're kind of convinced by this point of time that okay, this blockchain thing is something which is very much doable both for the industry as well as my participation into it, and then start learning some of the languages like Java, HTML, which are bare minimum. Of course, by this point of time you would have a fair amount of idea like which blockchain is going to become much more popular, offer much more jobs, which is something which is going to be much more valuable in the future. And similarly, you can choose, how your skilling direction from this point of time, and then gradually, methodically, you keep on acquiring this knowledges about how to develop this application forward and become a blockchain expert. Then time comes to understand the process re-engineering, in which you are participating with an enterprise entity to rearrange or realign their business processes with the inclusion of blockchain technologies in the system, and how to go about it. Maybe develop a consortium for that industry. Then you can take some internship, hands-on experience by taking some practical experience in blockchain development, design, deployment experience. And then thereafter, once you have a good, clear understanding of how this entire thing will be panning out, you can go for some specialized programs, looking at the potential areas of development, and then equip yourself with the further skilling programs and become much and much more relevant to the entire, entire metaverse requirements, and make a career out of it. So this is kind of an loose, broad roadmap, which is with the effort of saying that it's not very difficult, but you have to start somewhere, and you start with this set of skill sets in your mind, this set of goals in front of you, and then you just keep on skill yourself up. And obviously we are trying to help you in this journey of yours with our entire CryptoWire initiative. CryptoWire initiative is coming with two specific initiatives in the form of Crypto University and Crypto TV for you. You get a much better idea of what CryptoWire, Crypto University, and Crypto TV is from its application, the app CryptoWire. And once you download the app, then you see the sections Crypto University, Crypto TV, and they provide you, much better content over there. Crypto TV is a dedicated platform with an audio visual infotainment kind of an platform, which breaks down the complex subject of blockchain, cryptocurrency, and makes it very easy for you. Also connects you to the industry experts, or let's say platforms like India Blockchain Forum, with an idea sharing about what's happening, and things like, what is an NFT, different coins, how they are working. There's some interviews, weekly things, education, and things like that. So once you download that app, you can go through these categories, you can go through these videos which are prepared, and there's a very good way of kind of an collecting information, collecting knowledge, while also through a very entertaining medium. So that's what crypto TV is for you. And in crypto university, we try to look into the entire learning part with a little bit more serious approach, in which what we try to do is to bring to you various courses which are there on offer, both paid and free courses. Also, we have our own courses under development, and these courses. So once you, let's say, for example, go for any of the courses which are available from global universities, you just click on those, and it just the entire set of courses over there. And then you can just go through that course, make your own learning, make your own notes, and be an autodidact, learning by yourself, and probably enhancing your ideas about the whole thing. And then basics can be covered through this content as it is there at this point of time. And crypto wire is something which is tracking the markets for you, with all the prices and other things. Some things like arbitrage opportunities between various exchanges and things like that, which is also another interesting part of it. Uh, Students who are kind of looking at cryptocurrencies, I believe a lot of you are already, because in almost all of my interactions, I do find a respectable bunch of people who have already participated and made some good amount of money, or lost some good amount of money from cryptocurrency investments. So that's already there. uh, you can use the CryptoWire app to kind of make all those market information, which might help you in doing all those trading related activities over there. So anything that you need about your education, your infotainment, or your information, CryptoWire app is kind of a one-stop solution. And you can kind of, your source of knowledge, your source of information, your source of fundamentals, this would be your friend to take you through this experience of blockchain and crypto. As you go deeper, it will help you, take a deeper dive, a much more serious look into the whole thing. So with that, I'd like to welcome all of you to the chain. And I believe, Devesh, you will have some very interesting things to talk to the kids today.
Surely.
Sure.
Thanks, Ajay.
Over to you, Devesh. Yep. Thanks. Bye.
Thanks, Ajay. Very, very insightful. I'm sure here everyone who's attending this session has learned a lot from Ajay, and you have a lot of questions. So we can take those questions maybe after some time. Else, if you have some questions that you want to ask right away, please feel free to. So basically, I like the points where Ajay emphasized on the career opportunities that one can build on blockchain and cryptocurrency, which is immense. It is an upcoming field, it's an upcoming sector where there is a lot of interest gathering in, and there's a lot of scope to develop and grow here. There were so many businesses or job roles in a lot of sectors which didn't exist many years ago, but the moment they entered, they have become like a huge place to make money off. For example, e-commerce. Nobody ever thought that e-commerce could be such a booming sector to be in. The moment e-commerce came and started growing, today we see there are so many job opportunities, so many growth potential in e-commerce. Likewise, if you see blockchain and cryptocurrency, there is huge potential. In fact, we all know that digital wallets like Paytm were not even heard of in 2010. like it was there in the market, but people weren't very excited about what digital wallets are. Today, we see there are multiple digital wallets, right from your Paytms to your phone pays to your MobiKwik, etc. And the list goes on and on and on. And there is so much of growth today. People just can't imagine that they don't have a wallet, a digital wallet. Today, everyone has a digital wallet. If everyone is an exaggeration, at least 90% is the reality. 90% of the population has a digital wallet where they used to transact. They use it on a daily basis. They can't imagine lives now without digital wallet. Similarly, after maybe a couple of years, people would not be able to imagine life without blockchain, would not be able to imagine life without cryptocurrency. We never know how it comes in. Like Ajoy rightly mentioned, how the finance minister talked about the taxing of the crypto assets or any virtual assets for that matter, which includes your NFTs as well as your cryptos, as well as any virtual assets. Today, they have made it taxable. Tomorrow, they might come with a bill which gives a lot of inclusion. Day after tomorrow, they might come with something where this becomes like a currency that can be pegged upon. Of course, the kind of volatility today that cryptocurrencies has, it's very difficult to use it as a currency to be pegged upon, but we never know what may happen. So there's huge potential and one should not miss the bus. One should go along with it. Being from the startup domain where I have worked with over, say, 1,100 startups, have a network of more than 1,500 investors from India and the US, I feel that apart from just being job seekers, one can also be job creators. And there is immense potential here as well. Now, let me take a couple of examples. So today, if you see, your mark sheets are there on a platform, right? Now, those can be altered, those can be forged, and can be submitted to your potential employer or anywhere else where you wish to share your mark sheets. But having that on a blockchain platform makes it very difficult to forge them, to change them. That can be an opportunity that you guys may want to capture on and create a venture out of it. There can be another simple venture. For instance, we all know LinkedIn, right? So people today put about their education, about their work profiles, etc. There is no way to check whether the information is authentic. There are agencies which do a background check, but that's again a long drawn and an expensive process. But if you really just want to be sure whatever you're seeing is true, how do you do that? You put that on blockchain. There are so many things that one can develop upon and do create businesses and ventures out of blockchain and cryptocurrencies. There is a company that I worked very closely with and invested also in, which was into cloud servers. This was way back in 2016-17. In 2020, he had changed 3 businesses. And the last business that he was doing was into cryptocurrencies. He came out with a cryptocurrency. He came out with some tokens and he said he raised a small round and he said, I'm going to make this big. But by the time all of us who had invested were very fed up and we said, you know what? We are not going to put in money into you. We are not going to stay along. You just return back our principal. And he said, fine, I'm happy to return back a principal because I know it's going to be a big play. And all of us took an exit at the principal level, thinking it's a COVID time. We would not know how the markets perform, how startups will perform, and cryptocurrency is such a new thing. And this guy is getting into this. It's a third business he's getting into. Let us take a capital and move back. I think that was one of the biggest mistakes that all of us made. It's just been a matter of 1.5 years and his valuation has grown 10 times. And all of us would have made 10 times of a principal, but we didn't know where it's heading. So sometimes things move very fast and it's the right time to catch the bus. Having said that, there is also nature's law, which says that what moves very fast also falls very fast, right? So you are seeing what's happening with most of the cryptocurrencies worldwide. The ones which have moved very fast have also come down. But at the same time, after coming down, if they stabilize and then they move up, then that shows the momentum as well. So I feel we should all capitalize on this time where cryptocurrency and blockchain, everyone has equal access to it. There is technology is there which gives equal access to everyone. Let us capitalize on that. In fact, let me talk to you about another person, his name is Samuel Fried. He is in the US. Now this guy, he got passed out of MIT, and then he didn't know what to do. Then he was reading some stories online where he was like, I feel I should make money, but what should I do? Then he just once went on the platform to see the price of Bitcoin. He saw the price of Bitcoin in the US exchange was quoting somewhere close to $10,000, and he went to the Japanese exchange and saw it quoting at $11,000. He said, that's an opportunity. Let's do arbitrage. He started doing arbitrage in that. And he used huge amounts to do that arbitrage. In fact, you can Google him. He is one of the richest guys in the US now. This guy runs a cryptocurrency exchange. He is, I think his valuation of his company is close to, I think, $17.5 billion. And this guy has made it in the last 4 to 5 years. Now, simple concept, just arbitrage. You buy at exchange where the price is lower, you sell it at the exchange the price where it's higher, and you see the arbitrage, right? There are multiple opportunities that everyone can capture on. It can either be trading, it can either be building new products, it can either be innovating, it can either be a part of the ecosystem and doing something separately. It can either be trainers or educators. There is immense scope that one can capitalize on blockchain and cryptocurrency. And I feel it's a better idea to be a job creator than to be a job seeker. Of course, there are a lot of opportunities in the ecosystem, but why not create some and make it big? In fact, since the topic of trading has come in, would you guys want to see how can one actually trade and make money? I don't mind sharing that. In fact, if I actually get into details, it will take us at least 3 to 5 hours of a session to understand everything technically, how to make money in trading. But I can try to share one concept of trading with you guys over a 5-minute span where you can understand that. And please feel free to ask questions, if any. But before I do that, 2 things. A, are you all interested? If yes, please a raise of hands. B, if you all are interested, this is only for educational purpose. So there are no tips here. I'm not saying what to buy, what to sell. It's just for educational purpose. And then you take how do we go about it. Fine. So I see Vivek saying a yes. Are there more yeses? Okay. I see a lot of people saying yes and raising their hands. Fair enough. So let me share my screen and let me share some concepts with you. Can you guys see my screen and the charts?
Yes, sir. That's visible.
Perfect. Great. So let us take Bitcoin here. Okay. Let us take a daily candle and let us move back. Much back in time. I'm starting with Bitcoin. You can tell me whichever currency you want. If you want Ethereum, we can do on that as well, right? It is just about showing you some concepts which works everywhere. Okay.
So take ICP.
It's not okay. This one?
That's ICP USD, Internet Computer versus US dollar.
Perfect. Let's take this one. लगता है किसी का पैसा घुसा हुआ है इसके अंदर. Fair enough.
मेरे घुसा हुआ है.
ठीक है. So basic concept, okay? Now, this is a very latest one, right? So let me go on a smaller time frame. Let me take a 15-minute time frame, not a daily time frame, so that we can see कि पैसा कैसे से बना सकते हैं. मैं एकदम पहले starting से लूंगा, so that आपको ऐसा नहीं लगे कि charts देखकर बता रहा हूँ. Then we go in the end and we'll see कि markets कहाँ move करेंगे. अगर वैसा movement किया तो मुझे ping कर देना कि सर आपने सही बताया था. ठीक है? So now this is called Japanese candlesticks, what we're seeing on a screen. This is, if you see where my cursor is, this is one candlestick on a 15-minute time frame. This shows the high is 28.20, the low is 27.95. It opened at 28.16 and closed at 28.07. So इसने hardly movement किया है, around say 25 bips इसने move किया. ठीक है? Now this is one candlestick. We are going to learn a basic concept of resistance and support and see how can that help us to make money with a defined stop loss and a defined target. Now, if you see over here where my, okay, now you see over here at this point of time, this is a resistance. Why is it a resistance? Because the market has moved up and started coming down. Now it is coming down here also, if you see in this place. But why I'm taking this? So whenever there is a U-turn of more than 10 to 15%, that is marked as a support or a resistance, right? So in this case, we see a U-turn of more than 10%. So this we take as a resistance. It keeps coming down, down, down. Do we see a U-turn of more than 10% here? Not really. So we won't take this as support. We let it go down. And here we see is a support coming in. Fine. Now, because we see a movement on the top side over here. So this is more than 10%. So let us mark a base here. So this is my support. This is my resistance on a 15-minute time frame. Now, what is the rule of the game? Whenever a candle breaks the resistance, it is usually supposed to move up from there. Whenever a candle breaks a support, it's supposed to move down from there. Now, there are also false signals that keep coming in. So how does one manage that? So let us see, where did this candle break on the top side? It broke over here. Which candle broke? This candle broke. Now, this 15-minute candle. The low of this candle is 27.96. That is your stop loss. What's your target? Your target is the distance between the support and resistance. So in this case, it is 25.86 to 28. So around $3 is your target, or your target in either side. So if it's broken here, your target should have been 31. If it breaks here, your target should be 22. So let's see what happens here. Here we see it has broken, and your stop loss, so it has broken over here. So it has broken 28.21 over here, and your stop loss is 27.96, which is again close to 25 bips is your stop loss. It goes up, makes a high of 28.5, it then starts tumbling down. Now it breaks the resistance. Now let the support. Let us see what the support level is. It's 25. What will be the stop loss? In this case, the high of this candle, which is 26.44. So if you short the candle at 25.87 and keep a stop loss of 26.44, let's see, does it achieve the target in this case or not really? It should be close to 22 at least. So here we see it has made a low of 23.21. Now we see it has made a low of 23.03. Now we see it's made a low of 22.41. So it has more or less achieved its target on the downside. Now it's gone more down. It's made 20.55. So here you see, whenever resistance breaks, your stop loss is small, but the targets are really huge. So in this case, it was 25 bips to $3. So I think it's close to 1:10 is your risk to reward ratio. So you took a loss of 25 bips, you again went down. You entered at that point of time. Here, because the stop loss was higher, your risk to reward was 1:6. You still made your profit. So even if you made one loss, you have still made $3 at a loss of 25 bips. So that's how you do. Now, we can still take another example now. So where are we? We are at 22, we have entered. So let us see where the markets are going to move. So let's see, there is a U-turn happening from here. So let us take this as a resistance. And there is no U-turn yet. No, not a big one. Big one. No, not yet. Okay, so let's assume this is the another one, because this is a big U-turn, right? So we take it over here, or for that matter, over here. So this is a support and this is the resistance. So let's see if the market has moved or is still in the range. Okay, it has moved and again come back in, and it's broken this. So someone who's invested into this, now let me tell you what can happen in this case for you. So your 25 is your resistance, and 19 is your support. So it's close to $6. It has broken down, but it's come inside. Now it is trading inside, it's again broken down. So ideally, if it continues breaking down, so from 19 minus 6, which is close to 13. So 13 should be the target on the downside where it should ideally go. Is it going? Let's see. And 25 is your stop loss. Not stop loss, it's your on the higher side if it breaks. So if you see it's still not, if you see it has broken the stop loss over here multiple times on this one. So you keep doing re-entry, and you should not do a re-entry more than thrice. So if you see in this case, even if you have a 1:10, still if you made 3 attempts, you know where it is going. But the way it is keep on moving down, I feel this should keep continuing. So जिसका भी इसमें investment है, it might be risky. Again, it's only for educational purpose. We are not giving any trading tips here. Plus, what we're doing here is, because it's a new cryptocurrency, what is happening over here is we're using on a 15-minute time frame. 15-minute time frames have more noises compared to a daily time frame. So ideally, if we really want to see a performance of any cryptocurrency, you should ideally trade on a daily time frame vis-a-vis a 15-minute, because 15-minute will have a lot of noises, but daily time frame would not. And daily time frame would try to give you more outcomes than a 15-minute. But if you see your daily, we don't have much options because it's just started. So even if you see here, if you could have taken this as a resistance here, and the support is still getting built actually, if you see the way it is happening. So on a daily basis has not built a support. So let it cross this line, just 37.56, then you will have a real huge gameplay here. So if you see 86 to 19, so if you see, then there's a movement happens above 86, you might see levels of 200 as well. So let it develop over a period of time. It is too nascent.
So if you have time, can you show it for Ethereum? Because I think it has more volatility, and it is a, it will be for a 1-day time frame so that we can better understand the concept.
Perfect. So do you want me to do it for the latest or back test it?
So whatever you feel like, so that we can get a hang of the concept that you're telling, the resistance upper and the lower.
Okay, fine. So here we see a huge U-turn from here. So this is a resistance. Are we all on the same page for this one? So 364 is it? And we are in which year? We're in 2019. So we all know what has happened currently. So let us see how did it play out. Here we see any big U-turn is anywhere you guys are seeing a big U-turn coming in on the support side, please point it out to me. I think this place here it is. Because we saw a huge U-turn happening over here. So 364 becomes my resistance, 116 is my support. Let's see what happens. It has broken 116 on the downside. 364 minus 116, if you see, it has to be less than 0, which is not a possibility, but has broken the support. Sometimes it can be a shakeout or it can really move down. Let's see what really happens. So seems like it was a shakeout and it has moved up. So now see where does it go. So it's crossed 364 with a huge candle. So here we see the stop loss for us is 346. If you see this candle which has broken this out, 346 is the stop loss. And our target should be 364 minus 116, which is close to say 250 points. So 364 plus 200, 250 should be around 600. Let's see, does it touch 600? Here we see it has touched 600 already, right? So we saw how resistance and support played out so very well. Is that giving some clarity?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Need
sir.
some more examples on this one or any others, or are we good?
So just one thing, I just have a doubt. How did we decided the stop loss here?
How did I stop loss here? Okay, great. So if you see this candle, can you see? Okay, let me make it bigger. Let me
Yes,
zoom
sir.
in. Yeah. You see where my cursor is? Here, this one.
Yep. Yeah.
So what is the low of this candle?
So it's around 340, I guess.
3?
Yes, it's close to 340. Like
so you can see it. You can see it here. Over here, it's written.
Okay.
But if you see, so if I'm moving it back here, what is the stop loss? What is the low of this candle?
So 346.
346. It's written here, right? Perfect. So that is a stop loss. And your target is going to be the distance between the resistance and the support, which is in this case close to 250.
Okay.
So you keep a stop loss of 346 and 364 is your breakout. And the moment it touches 346, you exit the trade, else you ride it till 600. And you see what happens here. So it broke here, has it or has it not? It has broken, right? Then what do? You again re-enter on the candle which has broken the resistance. So here, what is the low? This candle?
So it's 350.
350. So 350 is your stop loss on an entry of 366, which is say close to just 16 points. And how much are you playing for? 250. So again, your ratio is 1:, close to 1:15, right? So let's see what happens. So you've hit in a stop loss once. Okay. Now let's see what happens. You have hit in a stop loss a second time. Okay. Now you do another re-entry over here. So where do you do a re-entry? Maybe on this one. So here the low is 349, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's your stop loss.
Okay, sir.
Now you see what it does. Now it keeps going up. It achieved a target. So what we did, we entered thrice. We took 2 stop losses. So what you're supposed to do, anytime you take a three stop losses, should ideally exit out of the trade, because then it's not working as per your trade plan. It has too much of volatility. So every time, you can't, if you are getting a target 1:15, you can't be ready for 15 stop losses so that you even out. Ideally 3 or maximum 4 is the stop loss that you should go for when you have such huge risk to reward ratios, which is 1:10, 1:15. So in this case, you saw it took 2 stop losses. For the third time when you did a re-entry, you saw your target getting achieved. Clarity, clear here?
Yes, sir. Okay.
Okay. So any more ideas you want? So, or I think we should stop the screen share. वरना मालूम पड़ा कल सब traders बनोगे और पढ़ाई वढ़ाई सब बंद and trading चालू. So I hope that this was clear. The concept got a bit clear for all of you guys. So what you may want to do is you may just want to try with a single quantity, see if the resistance and the support works for you. Do some paper trade for a month. If it works, then you can start with real money and see what happens. It's always a good learning for everyone. So this is something where resistance and supports usually work very well in any market, on any stock, on any cryptocurrency, on any index. Having said that, if you want to play really safe, you want to make really safe money, then arbitrage is something that you should capitalize on. And in cryptocurrency, the biggest advantage is it is in different countries. The exchanges are across the globe and the rates are different in different exchanges where you can capitalize on. In India, if you see, you can't do this in stocks much because there's a BSE, there's an NSE, and the difference between the 2 stocks is not a huge margin. Plus, the other thing is the liquidity is not as much. So sometimes the NSE may have a lower quantity and the BSE may be higher, and you may not be able to make use of arbitrage. But in cryptocurrencies, you have a beautiful opportunity to use arbitrage. In fact, Kisalia asked, sir, when you say arbitrage, does it mean statistical arbitrage? So when I'm saying arbitrage, Kisalia, I'm saying that there's a difference between the price. So for example, let me take a layman's example. If you buy potatoes in your colony, the cost may be say 20 rupees. If you buy potatoes, say 100 kilometers from where you stay, the cost may be 200 rupees, right? So how you create an arbitrage, you buy at 100, you travel 100 kilometers and you sell for 200. So that's how you make an arbitrage. Or you sell at 200 at 100 kilometers away, you come back to your locality and buy at 100. That's an arbitrage. So same quantity has different values on different exchanges, but at the end of the day, you can capitalize on buying lower and selling higher. Hope that answers your question. Great. Any other questions anyone has regarding to what I spoke or regarding to what Ajoy spoke? Please feel free to ask. We both are here to answer any questions that you all have.
So, but I think this arbitrage, I've seen a couple of exchanges, and I don't think that this arbitrage really works. I tried doing this and I actually lost some money in transferring from one account to one exchange to another exchange because the transaction fees is such that, and because of because of now more people know about this cryptocurrency, the volume may be up and down, but the cost, I think it's the same throughout all the exchanges if you take the top exchanges.
Absolutely right. So what has happened, Kesalia, is arbitrage is an opportunity which you can capitalize upon when there is an information mismatch. Now everyone has access to that same information, hence you don't see arbitrage. So the guy who created the exchange, whom I talked about right now, Samuel Fried, this guy did it when there was not much information about Bitcoin. So that time the rates were 10,000, 11,000, right? So he saw there was an information mismatch, hence he took advantage of it and created money on arbitrage. You may do it only in currencies which are pretty new or in commodities which are pretty new where you can do it. Else, the safer, so this is the safest thing because in arbitrage, usually people don't make loss unless and until maybe the transaction charges in your case, as you mentioned, or maybe you are not buying this right amount of quantity or selling at the right price, or there is less liquidity. Those can be the only reasons why people lose in arbitrage. Otherwise, the safest bet one can have. Else, what you can do is what we just learned right now about resistance and support. I think that usually works best in any market, any commodity stock index. So maybe that is something that is in store for you and not arbitrage then.
Sure, we'll try that, sir. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Yes, guys, any questions, anything for
Hello,
me or
sir.
Ajoy, please feel free to ask.
Yeah, sir. I have two questions basically. One is on blockchain and the other one is on cryptocurrency.
Okay.
So, sir, on blockchain, I definitely like the idea of, decentralized economy and everything. But since the information is present for everyone, what's your point on if all the corporates will get into this idea of blockchain? Because corporates there are confidential information which they work on, so why will they choose the path of blockchain and not something which is very secured?
Ajoy, do you want to take that?
Okay, yeah. So good question, Priyanka. The thing is blockchain is a ledger which is transparent in nature and it's like visible to everything. Now that's a public blockchain. There are other kind of blockchains which are there, which are like enterprise blockchain or permission blockchain. So basically, you share the info with people whom you want to share with, and you do not really share the entire info with all the groups. So there are like control measures, control groups, and other things which work for you. And Hyperledger is one such blockchain. So basically, the idea is to have a blockchain. Blockchain is a digital ledger, and it features some amount of automations into an organizational process and other things. So these are the benefits of it. Or let's say, for example, if there is an industry consortium on a blockchain and there are certain industry participants who want to share information among each other. Let's say, for example, in a fintech industry, there is a banking consortium who want to share the customer database with each other only. So what they can do is basically create a permissioned blockchain and allow the admins of that particular industry or participants of those particular corporates of that particular industry to access and share the data among themselves. Now, that also in itself adds a huge amount of inefficiency to the whole process, because today what is happening is that your KYC information is replicated at each bank. So we are creating information silos, and these different institutions, they do not really share the data with each other. Now, their data shared with the regulator of that particular industry also becomes kind of an, a bottleneck. So there is a lot of, chatter going here about there about and things like that. If everything is put on a permission blockchain, they could keep their privacy as well as create, sharing of information from make the system much more efficient for each of the consortium participants. Does that answer your question?
It definitely does, sir. But again, a follow-up question arises there that
Yep.
if in case something goes wrong with the idea of blockchain, if since it is not regulated at all?
It's not that blockchain is not regulated, Priyanka. I mean, blockchain.
Yes, sir. So, sir, since the blockchain is not regulated, if
No.
there is something.
No. Blockchain is regulated. The regulation of blockchain does not come from individuals like you, me, or institutions like the government or the SEBI. The regulation in the blockchain comes from the mathematical algorithm which runs the protocol. So trust me one thing, these mathematical rules, I mean, people like you and me, we can change our moods tomorrow or day after tomorrow, but these mathematical algorithms will not change themselves. They'll keep on running. So it's a much more permanent system of governance than what I mean, individual based or institution based governance is there.
Okay, sir, that answers
So
my
but yeah,
question.
but
Thank you.
what is the risk that you perceive? It is regulated, but what is you're talking about some risks if it was
Yes, sir. If
unregulated.
there is something that goes wrong, then who will be held responsible and who will be taking actions against them?
One great thing about blockchain is that it is creating a ledger which is immutable. So once any wrong entry even gets validated and makes itself to the ledger, it remains immutable. There is no way that you can rectify that. So that makes it extremely critical that you do a verification and validation of information before passing it onto the ledger. And trust me, all the protocols that are there, they have this a very robust verification and validation methodology in place so that it becomes a non-cheatable system, so that misinformation or wrong information cannot be put into a blockchain. So maybe we do a session on blockchain security and the technological security things over there. This thing will be, I mean, very clear and easy. Otherwise, I'd recommend you to download the Bitcoin white paper and go through it meticulously. You will get a hang of how robust these systems are. Okay.
Sure, sir. Thank you. So my another question is from for Devesh, sir. Sir, as you told about a lot of coins, and it is highly volatile. So I just want to understand that why should one invest in coins which can be moved even after Elon Musk's tweet, but like there's nothing that can be, since you showed the resistance and stop loss, everything that is understandable. But since even a small news that can reflect directly on the entire cryptocurrency market.
So, Priyanka, very good point. So, there are some currencies which are investable, some are which are tradable. So, now, if you look at the markets, right? So, let me talk about something which everyone understands. Let's talk about the Indian stock markets, right? Now, from 2016 till 2020 February, uh, before the COVID crash came in, if you saw the markets moved up steadily, but none of the mutual funds made money. Why was that? So if you see the markets doing well, but nobody making money, because those 4 years was a trader's market and not an investor's market. So there are different kinds of phases that a market has. One is an investing market, one is a trading market. So anyone who traded in those years made more money than anybody who remained invested. So, but what happened is investment pays in the longer term. Now, anyone who was invested in 2015 and he sees portfolio in 2022, after seeing the fall that happened during COVID and whatever all movements happened, everyone has seen their portfolio grown at least 3 times, if not higher, right? So in a span of 7 years, if you see 3 times your portfolio growing, it is giving you a return which your FD may not even give you in 25 years, right? So again, answering a question with cryptocurrency, there are some currencies which may be good for investing, some are good for trading. Now seeing the huge volatility and with, as you rightly said, when Elon Musk tweets, currencies either move up or down with huge volatility. What you may want to do in such currencies, if you don't understand right now if they're good investing or no, then you just become a trader there. You pick up any instance, even if you pick up the crash that happened in the Nifty, or you pick up the movements that's happening because of Elon Musk's tweets. everywhere either resistance is broken or a support is broken. And once it breaks in the direction, there is a huge movement in the direction. And why does that happen? There's a psychology that happens in the charts, and that's how people think. So, you know, there's a saying which says that market knows it all. It's called the efficient market theory, which says that market discounts everything. So whenever there is a huge movement or a huge fall, everything is priced in the action, and you will see the direction and you see the movement of the price in that direction. So answering your question, Priyanka, even if Elon Musk tweets and if the prices move up or down, they'll still play on resistance and support. If you want, we can pick up any example also. If you feel you know of any currency that either moved really high or fell down really strongly, we can look at the past chart and see where the resistance and support was, and did it respect that and gave the targets as we decided or no. And you will be pleasantly surprised it does. So this is called technical analysis. And as I mentioned, it's a 3 to 5 hour session if you really get into details, but that's how markets you can make money. It's all about discipline and following it to the core. So in this case, if we learn today about resistance and support, you just follow that to the core and in a disciplined manner, and you'll see you can make money in that as well. Again, in trading, a market where tweets affect an up and down of the market, vis-a-vis investing in such markets where one needs to be really patient. So anyone who invested 6 years ago in blockchain, in Bitcoin, despite the volatility that we're seeing in Bitcoin over the last few months, people would have still made a huge amount of money. But someone who is just entering right now into the bandwagon, I think it's a trader's market right now and not an investor's market in that case. Hope that answers, Priyanka, or have I confused you more? So that answers your question. You've written in the chat box. Okay, thanks.
Sir, I have two questions. The first is, I have heard about a month back, there is a news about a non-fungible token. So one NFT was sold at around, I guess, $2 million. So for me, it sounds like a rich game. And how long this will take for general people to make it legitimate, or they will think that even they can, buy NFT. And since it is somewhat intangible, so it sounds ridiculous for an NFT getting sold at around $1 million.
Shall I take that?
Yes, please.
Okay. Ishan, have you ever heard of an Picasso getting sold in millions of dollars?
Yes, and that is truly understandable. But then that thing is tangible, but this is intangible. You cannot see it or feel it.
Just a second.
Or sorry, touch it. Yeah.
No. Do you know that Picasso did not sell a single painting during his lifetime?
No, sir, no idea about it.
Similarly goes with Leonardo da Vinci. He died a poor man, and Leonardo da Vinci's paintings now are sold by Sotheby's for millions of dollars, or even billions and trillions of dollars. So that's about non-fungible assets. Okay. Now the $1.63 million NFT which got sold was actually for an NFT collectible, okay, which was done there. We have been talking about Metaverse. Okay, so Metaverse is an alternate reality kind of or augmented reality kind of an situation in which there are assets which are created and cryptographically protected. So today, a lot of people who are spending time on MMORPG games and things like that, it has started with the gaming industry. So I'm taking that example, but it could be really extended to different industry use cases also. So all these MMORPG gaming industries, once they have invested that kind of an money, time, effort into those gamings, and they take their games quite seriously, that's that entertainment industry is there. Obviously, they have got those collectibles inside those game environments which they need to purchase. Okay, for which they need to spend tokens. They either earn the tokens or they buy the tokens from the exchanges and things like that. So this is how the NFT collectible markets actually move. So various people have got various reasons to buy various things. Sometimes that could make logical sense to us. Sometimes it does not make any logical sense to us. Okay. But that's a marketplace nonetheless, whether it makes sense to us or it does not make sense to us. It's the marketplace, and we have to address that. Now, coming to the application on NFTs, non-fungible tokens, into something that is much more, makes much more of an economic sense, is I like to draw the example of a real estate market. Let's say, for example, today, I'm sitting in FT Tower on the 6th floor on room number 008. Now that's a unique place. That's a non-fungible place. There will not be a second room number 008 on 6th floor on FT Towers, which resides at a particular address. Now, if I have to sell these things, offer this particular thing, if I own it, and if I have to offer this to a marketplace, it becomes a very difficult thing for me to move a piece of property, right? I have to advertise it in different mediums, go through a lot of brokers, come and show them the property and sell it. On the other hand, what I can alternately do is to tokenize it, put it onto a digital marketplace, create a metaverse augmented reality around it, so that people can put up their VR headsets and take a tour, virtual tour of how the property is and things like that. And if they're interested, they will buy that particular ERC 721 token or TRC 721 token and become owners of that property, which they can come down and visit later or occupy later. So this is just one use case, that a possible use case. It is not yet possible, but think about that. Its applications are there in the real economy and the real world as well. It requires, you know, ideas from you, from me, from everybody of us to come and create that world. Nobody is stopping you to create an NFT around a real estate. Nobody is stopping you to create an NFT around something which is unique in nature. Maybe a digital art, maybe a song, maybe a movie. Today, if I talk about the media industry, the content creators get only 12% of what the consumer pays, because there is a huge amount of intermediation involved in the legacy systems. But if we bring that onto a digital system, which affects disintermediation, then we as users pay lesser, whereas the content creator gets rewarded better. I'd really like to have a digital Netflix where I use pay-per-view kind of an system, rather than my Netflix account, which charges me every month, and I don't even get the time to watch a movie for the entire month, for that matter. So I keep on overpaying. The content creators do not get enough of what I am paying, and it is the intermediator, which is Netflix, which is making the money. So this is what it is. Like, if there is a movie which is being made, put it into an NFT, joined with the smart contracts, the creator's wallet, to me being a user, our wallet, and every time I access that NFT, there is a micro payment which is goes from my wallet to his wallet directly. We are creating a much better ecosystem, a much more efficient system than what is at present. And that is the opportunity which blockchain and cryptocurrencies bring to your fold. This is where you can innovate. You can really make a change. Somebody needs to come up and do that, learn these ropes, and apply these in practice. Does that answer your question, Kisan?
Yes, sir. Yes, definitely. Like, according to me, what I think, if you are a creator or developer, then it's fine to you that you can do something in Metaverse. But if you are buyer, then it requires a lot of money in order to, you know, allocate some asset for you. Because I was thinking of purchasing a land. Yes, sir.
It's actually going to be much more better for the user as well. Now, yes, I mean, the metaverse land in decentralized mana, it's very costly at this point of time. The virtual lands are much more costlier than actual real estate properties, but those are supply and demand mismatches. Okay, somewhere sense will prevail and prices will correct. So don't go by aberrations. Aberrations do not define the ecosystem. Okay, aberrations are aberrations.
Okay, sir, got it. Thank you so much.
आदमी चांद पे एक ही बार गया, उसके बाद दोबारा गया नहीं, जमीन पे ही रहता है ना.
Yes, yes. Okay, sir. Thank you so much for that.
Okay, I think we are approaching the deadline. Does anyone have any other questions? Maybe no. Okay.
No, great. So wonderful, guys. I mean, really enjoyed this talk with everyone, and we hope that we have invoked some amount of curiosity about the world which we are about to enter. And like I said, happy to see you on the other side. And Devesh, we need to plan and spend more specific hours with the interest groups over here. I think they have got amazing questions. And if we need to take further sessions in answering those questions respectively, both in the blockchain and the cryptocurrencies. And the trading and technical analysis things. So thanks a lot, guys. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Vijay sir. Thank you, Devi sir. It was a wonderful session and on such a niche topic. And we would really like to connect with you on the other topics related to this. Thank you for joining us, sir. We would like to connect you with all. Thank you.